What's up, everybody? It's Kevin here from Happy Beard Games, and today is a Friday, a Famicom Friday. Today is a Super Famicom Friday. We're checking out a game for the Super Famicom that is non-exclusive, but has some Japan-exclusive region features and graphics and style. This is a fighting game, so get those button-mashing fingers ready for some combos. We've got the game Fatal Fury Special for the Super Famicom today, here on Famicom Fridays on Hybrid Games. And I also have another Fatal Fury cart, that is Fatal Fury King of Fighters. Let's jump in with today's game on Famicom Friday. For the Super Famicom, once again, Fatal Fury Special.
Super Famicom Garō Densetsu Special.
Let's jump in with a quick arcade playthrough on the easiest difficulty of Garō Densetsu Fatal Fury Special for the Nintendo Super Famicom. This game is awesome. In my opinion, it's a good port. I haven't had any problems with it, so that's why I'm saying it's a good port. It seems like it has, I don't know if it has all the characters or all the same moves and stuff as the arcade classic, but it does play well, in my opinion. And I'm not like an expert technical fighter guy, but I love fighting games, all the way back from Street Fighter 2 and Tekken. Okay, so I set it up to lowest difficulty just to keep this clear, and I put the game time to infinite. You can also play this game in surround sound mode, which is kind of cool. You can do that on Samurai Showdown as well for the Super Famicom. Let's go to, you got license play, which I think is for tournaments, and you got versus play, which is you versus your friend. I think you can also do versus the computer, I'm not sure about that. We're gonna go to gameplay, which is the arcade mode. Alrighty, let's jump in with Fatal Fury. Now you've got all these characters here. It's kind of weird how they have the names of the characters behind the character animations. So sometimes you can't really read it that well. You've got Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, Joe Higashi, and you've got Big Bear, which you can barely see his name. They got all these other characters in this game, like you got Geese, and then let's choose Mai Shiranui. And then we can choose who we're gonna fight off against for our first round. I'm gonna choose Terry Bogard, another really iconic characters, these two, of the Fatal Fury and the King of Fighters series from SNK. Now, the cool thing about this game that differentiates it from the classic Street Fighter 2 by Capcom, or at least one of the things that differentiates it, is that you're playing on two lanes. There are two lanes, or planes, whatever you want to call those, where you see I'm on this front plane. Think of it like lanes on a street, except sideways, because it's two-dimensional. So you're like, you can jump from here back to there, forward and backward. There's two lanes, and you can fight on those lanes, and depending on what lane you're on, you cannot hit each other with certain attacks. But there is an attack where you can jump. You can basically like jump back to a lane and attack, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But then there's also just the basic gameplay of a 2D fighting game, like a Street Fighter 2, for example, where you've got your combos, you've got Hadouken type combos that you can pull off, and other types of combos that, depending on what your button presses are on the controller, the character will do a different attack action. So it's not like your typical video game where you have, you know, your Mario, you have jump and run. This one you've got, or even in the later Marios, you've got jump, punch, and run and stuff like that. On this one, it's not just as simple on 2D fighters, not as simple as just pressing a single button. You've got to do a combination of buttons to pull off some of those attacks. And by doing that, you'll get stronger attacks that'll do more damage to your enemy. That's kind of the staple of what a fighting game is. It goes all the way back to learning different moves and sequences in martial arts. So in a way, the combos of fighting games is a perfect representation of translating martial arts into video game controller. Oh, that ram attack is pretty tough. Come on, Big Bear. And you can block by holding back on the controller. I'm not sure if this game blocks every damage. There's some games where blocking will it'll like defend you completely 100%, and there's some games where you'll take a slight amount of damage. Got him. There's two big reasons in this game that were, things that were changed from the North American version and the Japanese version. So since I'm playing on the Super Famicom, the Japanese region version, there's some differences. It's mostly visual, but there could be some other differences as well with these games. And with my Shiranui, there's two big reasons why, two big changes they made between the North American and the Japanese version, and I'll let you guess what those are. They're not really relevant to the gameplay, though. They're just a visual thing. That's cool. She grabs him with her legs and flips him over. That's a cool move. I always thought that was a cool effect. Especially when it's the Big Bear. Like, how does she pick up Big Bear with her legs like that? Like, dang, girl. Alright, we've got another challenger. We're going to try to go through all of arcade mode, and that's about it for this video. So as we go along, we'll try to do some different moves, different combos. There's a combo where I can catch them on fire. There's the combo where I grab with the legs, and there's a combo where I can throw a fan. I don't know if there's any other ones. There might be. Sometimes you just gotta play around to find the combos. Other times they're too complex, and you have to go and look at a guide or a manual, or today just look online. Sometimes, like this fight right here, like I did that much damage without even doing a combo. It's just about the timing of the kicks and punches. This is a really fun game series. If you like Street Fighter 2 and you want more of that style game on your Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, Fatal Fury is right up there with Street Fighter 2. However, I won't recommend so much the first Fatal Fury. I think I showed that in the intro video. The first Fatal Fury only has like 3 characters in it, and it's a lot more limited than your typical 2D fighting game. But as the series progressed, like this game has a lot of characters in it, and a lot of cool stuff in it too. So you definitely get your content's worth in this game compared to the first Fatal Fury, which was called Fatal Fury King of Fighters, I think. Oh. No! Okay, I messed that one up. Joe Higashi. And the visuals are really good. The sound quality is pretty good on the Super Nintendo. Like I said before, it has surround sound. I don't really use the surround sound though. But yeah, and we are playing on the actual Super Nintendo, guys. Not a Super Famicom, but Super Nintendo, which can still play the same games with a little bit of a modification. No. Oh no, I messed that up. I messed that up pretty bad. But luckily, you have infinite continues. It's not so limited as some games. So you can continue as much as you want, and you even get the ability to, the option to select a different character or fighter to play as. So let's try this again. Go to Thailand, fight Joe Higashi as Mai Shiranui. And the graphics are pretty good too. I don't know, they're not really quite as iconic, I guess I'd say, as the Street Fighter 2 levels, just to compare it to that, but maybe that's just because I played Street Fighter 2 more. That was easy that time. And even when you do continue, you carry over your score. It looks like I have the same points. The points don't really matter too much, but you can use them to compare your score to a friend. Everything else in this game is pretty basic for, like, 2D tournament fighters, but it's really well done. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no flaws, as far as I can tell, with this game. I mean, longtime fans of the series, or people that played it on other consoles, might say that, Why is he doing that attack so much? They might say that, you know, this game isn't as good as other consoles or the arcade or whatever, but just playing it on my own on Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, I don't have any problems with this game. Got him. A little tricky there, Joe. Okay, so we get some bonuses to our points. You get, depending on how much health you had, the time you had left, which we set to infinite, and some other points. Oh, this guy's really tough. Or, he's not really tough, or he's not really any tougher than any of the other fighters, but you'll see if he does it on this stage. This character that we're gonna fight, Tung Furu, he has this attack where he gets like, shows like a buff image of himself, like in a ghostly form above him, and if you hit that, it's like a defense, and if you go to attack him or move near him during that attack, he'll do a lot of damage to you. It's kind of like a Master Roshi archetype character. Well, there it is right there, that thing. It does some damage to you. Just hard to get past sometimes. Yeah, he beat us on the first round. You lost. I mean, it's a really fun game. It's easy to pick up and play. There's almost next to no language barrier on the Japanese version. The only thing you'll be missing out on is text from victories. Like, you know, when you beat a match and they say something, you're only missing out on that if you don't know Japanese. Okay, that did a lot of damage to me. Luckily, I had a lot of health on that fight at the start. So yeah, Fatal Fury. Very fun game. This is Fatal Fury Special. It's a little bit different than like a Fatal Fury 3. I think I mentioned it might have been Fatal Fury 3, but it's not. It's an extended version, a special edition, if you will. You know, like just a different version expanded upon of Fatal Fury 2. Which I don't have Fatal Fury 2 currently. When I went to buy it, I found out about this, and then I just bought this instead. And then I had Fatal Fury 1, King of Fighters, for Super Famicom already, like way before this. This one's actually a somewhat of a recent purchase. I think I got this one either at Super Smash Games or on RetroGamesJapan.com, which are both really cool retro game stores that sell Japanese region games. I love it when you can buy those games in North America or the United States, and they're just they're not always in every game store. Oh, Jubei Yamada. Oh, he did a grab. Oh, jump back. I don't even know what's going on. Did I grab him? I think I grabbed him, but it was behind the screen. It was a weird new grab that I hadn't done yet. So like I think something about grabbing him up in the air and throwing him down. But that screen was in the way. It hadn't been destroyed yet. So we didn't really get to see it. This is a cool level though. I like this design because you're going between the planes and they have these boards and you can walk behind them as you're fighting, and it also adds the effect of breaking them. No! Oh, I thought he was gonna get me. I got him. Woo! I think there is either 8 or 10 levels in the arcade mode. Different fights you have to do. And we are on... Well, let's see which one we're on next. Oh, this is the Taekwondo guy from South Korea. We've got... I don't know. 6th stage, I think. We're 6th stage. So we're going pretty far so far through the game. We're doing it pretty fast. I remember I had a hard time with this guy the last time I played this. I've beaten this game, I think 3 times with Mai and 1 time with Terry. And then that's all I've played it since I've gotten this game. I played other King of Fighters games. He does that attack. And sometimes he'll do that attack like 3 times in a row. He'll just like spam it. And I'm like, come on, dude. I don't know if he'll see that this time. Hopefully not, because I don't want to, you know, lose. But when I was playing this the other day, I accidentally deleted my recording. So this is like the 2nd time I've done this video, essentially. Of course, I didn't finish the whole fight that time, but this guy gave me a hard time yesterday when I was doing essentially what's a practice version of this video because I accidentally deleted it. See, yeah, he does that, and it's so like, yeah, he'll do it again. See, I wasn't even kidding. And it's tricky. It's like you're cornered and you're being kicked by this, but he does have an effect where he does that kick. It automatically makes him jump backwards, I think, when he does that attack. So it's not like you can get completely stuck in the corner with that, but he does do it repeatedly, which is kind of gets annoying, kind of gets old. If a character is going to use the same like strong combo 3 times in a row, then I don't like that. Whether it's single player or computer player. Or I mean, single player, but like an actual person playing, or if it's a computer-controlled player. Alright, we beat Kim Kapwan, the Taekwondo master. We got this guy. I don't recognize this guy. Is this the guy that, like, he's like a drunken master? I don't know. I didn't think of something else. No? Chang Sinzan. I remember the stage looking pretty cool, but I don't remember the character. I think he reminds me of Bo Raichao a little bit from Mortal Kombat, but maybe that's just because I played Mortal Kombat a little more recently. Yeah, I think I just got him mixed up in my memory. That was weird. Oh no! No, jump back. I'm messing up the controls a little bit here. Well, he's fast. Maybe round, but he's a fast guy. Okay, we got him. I was trying to throw the, whatever is a fan that she has at him, but he was also doing his own ranged attacks too, which made it a little tricky to try to dodge those attacks and also counter them with my own attacks. He's a fast guy. He's a really fast guy. It's like me when I play DDR, except I don't think I'm quite that big. Okay, that was pretty easy that time. Sometimes I overthink it and I do too many combos and focus on pulling off these combos, like the fan or the kick grab, the leg grab, and stuff like that. And I focus on that so much that I forget about just doing basic kicks and punches and how much damage those will actually do. And if you like dodge right and you pull your punches and kicks right at the right timing, you can just play like that. You don't have to do combos necessarily, especially on this easy difficulty is what I mean.